You're welcome back. We're following the introduction of the Vehicle Identity Number Valuation Policy by the Customs, the Nigerian Customs. Freight forwarders and clearing agents at both the ports, Terminal Multipurpose Limited and at Tinkan Island ports in Lagos, have down tool for some days now. The consequences, well, is predictable. The ports have been congested, and a whole lot of other consequences. As we know, that area has already had a lot of traffic and some of those activities that have disrupted economic activities. Well, we have the National Public Relations Officer of Nigerian Customs Service, Deputy Controller of Customs, Timi Bomodi, joining us now to help us understand this policy a little bit more. Good to speak with you, Mr. Bomodi. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Good to have you. So the CBN talked about e-valuation and e-invoice, and that was suspended. Economists were not happy with that. And then we just wake up and we hear about the VIN policy. Tell us about this policy and why it is necessary at this time.
Okay, thank you. The VIN valuation protocol was introduced by the Nigerian Customs Service Management on the behest of agents, clearing agents. Management was inundated with complaints about what they saw as inconsistencies in our valuation methods. The complaints were that we did not have, consistent values for the same make and model of cars. And that was based on the fact that our valuation officers at the seaports, who, by the way, use a clearly defined method of arriving at values for used vehicles, had the values that they generated challenged by these clearing agents and a few importers. And that was the crux of the matter. So they brought the complaints to management, and management, having looked at the merits of their complaints, decided to introduce the VIN valuation protocol. And basically what this protocol does is that it has automated the system. So it has removed the human interference from the generation of values for cars, just so that we can have consistent values, just so that we can have a harmonized system that is the same across board throughout the country. And customs has not done anything different from what it has always done. The only thing is that this protocol is an automated one. It is one that is driven by machines. It is one that is driven by artificial intelligence. And we believe that it is also in the best interest of trade facilitation. That was why it was introduced. And also to correct the impression that it was introduced without some form of interaction with stakeholders. That is not correct, because as early as the early part of January, efforts were made by management to talk to stakeholders about this VIN valuation. And a lot of them, were taken by it. They accepted it, and they said, this is something that will revolutionize trade with regards to the import and clearance of used vehicles. So we are quite surprised to see the kind of reactions that has been generated by persons making these complaints.
All right, Mr. Bomondi, you said the customs hasn't done anything differently except to automate the system. But they say that the value of clearing vehicles now is over 100% more. How come?
Yeah, we have to understand, first of all, that the duty you pay for cars is dependent on the value of the cars. So what basically is the issue here? The issue here is that before now, we had agents making, not altogether honest declarations about the makes and models of the vehicles that they were, the intended clearing. So we using the VIN valuation, that is the 17-digit vehicle ID number of that is assigned to each vehicle. The service is able to appropriate the values considering the make and model of that vehicle. Now, if the values ascribed to a particular vehicle is such that the CIF, which is the value component for duty, which is the cost, insurance, and freight value, is high, then the duty definitely will be high. And again, we have to realize, as I said, it is consistent with customs, with what customs has been doing all the while. It is consistent because the value of used vehicles are subjective values. And so we have to have a systematic way that would use to appropriate value. And before now, it was done using a discounted method, a fixed discounted method calculated on a yearly basis. And it starts to read from when the vehicle was manufactured, that is when it was brand new, and the amount of years that has gone by to its current value, its current book value. And that is what we use.
Okay. So it would be nice to know what's the way forward, because, I mean, a lot of people are feeling the pinch of this while the freight forwarders and clearing agents have refused to work. And then, of course, the customs is out. Maybe in just less than a minute, could you tell us what's the way forward? What's the plan now?
The plan really, as I said, we had a series of meetings with stakeholders before we introduced this protocol. We've listened to their complaints. Going forward, there definitely will be opportunities for the stakeholders and custom management to interact further on what the issues are. Because as I said, we've not done anything new. What we've really done is that we automated the process system. And we removed human interference from this system. And it is the human interference that created the arguments of inconsistency across board. So we will have more robust interactions with our stakeholders and tell them the utility value of this protocol is quite high because it definitely will enhance trade facilitation processes.
All right. Thank you so much, Deputy Comptroller General, Nigeria Customs Service, spokesperson for Customs.
Deputy Controller of Customs, not Controller General.
Apologies, Deputy Controller of Customs, yeah. Thank you so much for clearing the air on that. Well, we have more conversation on this matter. After this break, we'll have the other side of the parties, the freight forwarders and the clearing agents. They'll join us in this conversation after this break. This is Business Morning on Channels Television. Well, let's get a reaction from other parties connected to the vehicle identity valuation policy. We have with us in the studio Dr. Goodluck Ononuji, board member, National Association of Government-Approved Freight Forwarders, in the studio. And eventually we're going to have Dr. Farrington Alqaeda joining us virtually to also tell us the position of clearing agents. Good to see you, Dr. Goodluck Ononuji. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
So we just heard from the customs. I mean, one of the complaints from freight forwarders and clearing agents has been that there was no conversation before the VIN valuation policy was introduced, but he's saying that you had talks.
He has said his own part, but we, who are the freight forwarders, I can say that in my own association of National Association of Government-Approved Freight Forwarders, we are not invited or discussed with anybody on this VIN issue. We are happy to have evaluation. But the only problem lies on the cost they placed on the vehicles. We do have fiscal valuation we have been using. There have been no confrontation since all these days. The problem comes up these days customs decided that they feel whatever they give importers, their agents will assist them to pay it. Nobody. We have never seen such value ever in the maritime industry.
Yeah, but he's saying that they didn't do anything to the value. The only thing they did is they didn't do anything to the costs. But the only thing is because before now it seems that there was a lot of under declaration. So now because it's automated, so there's no more under declaration, and so this is the real value. But they have not done anything to the duties.
Okay, if we're saying that this is the real value, I personally, on behalf of the freight forwarders, will tell us that the value they are giving now for mainly Toyota products has never been given ever in this industry. How can the controller stand here to tell us that there is no change? There's a lot of change.
Okay, so tell us, how was it working before? Who determines the value or the duty?
Is the custom valuation unit that determines the value, of which whatever they give us, we pay for the fact that is acceptable. Now, presently, go to that system, automated. You will see Toyota Camry of 2013 in that system having face duty of 3 million.
About how much was it before?
Before, it is 1.5. 1.5. But now it's 3 million first duty.
All right, so let's also hear from the national president of the Association of Nigerian Licensed Customs Agents now, Dr. Farrington Alqaeda, joining us also to tell us his own perspective. Good morning, Dr. Alqaeda. Can you hear me, Dr. Farrington? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. So, first of all, let's start with, your association, were you carried along in the conversation before the introduction of the VIN valuation policy?
Okay, let me take you memory lane. What actually linked to VIN valuation? We notice whenever our members clear consignment, particularly vehicles from the seaport, the men of FOU and the men of custom always hijack this consignment, particularly vehicle, and take it to the FOU and tell you that what you have paid is compromised duty. We met the Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service and advised him that, number one, there's need for us to have uniform value. Before now, if you have a 2013 vehicle, as the other man was saying, the duty that vehicle will pay in Apapa, Tinkan, and PTML varies. So we're not saying this is not too good because they are going to the same market. And having paid that duty, they are still being stopped on the road, extorted by members. You now go to a situation where we are tired of giving bribe. Let us know the actual value. We suggested to the CGC of Custom to go to Ghana. In Ghana, what is implemented is VIN valuation. The moment you input your VIN in the system, it gives you the duty you are supposed to pay. But when it was approved, the CGC said we were going to be carried along. They never invited any of the freight forwarding association. We were not carried along. We were not even told. We just noticed that they said they wanted to implement it. Ideally, when you want to bring in new policies, there should be a pilot scheme where you can start it from maybe PTML or another small port where you know there's not going to be a problem. You start it and see how it works. And we also noticed that there are outrageous values inputted into the system. When I complained and we complained to the ACGICT, it said something is not possible that they don't have any command over it. And I told them that the legal notice 30 on used vehicle allows for rebate on use of vehicle from 10% to 50%. These were not inputted in the system. These were not put into as factors. And they are not put into consideration. All we also saw when we engaged the National Public Secretary of Public Officer of Nigerian Customs Service is that we noticed that they have used internet value. Or when you go abroad, you want to buy a vehicle, the seller will tell you bid for that vehicle. These are the vehicles that they went and extracted and inputted in the system for Nigerians to be paying to. And that's why it is so outrageously high. And that's why freight forwarders are seriously complaining.
So he complained that the customs have talked about inconsistency in valuation, which should be eliminated, you know, also with reducing human contact in the system with this VIN policy.
Yeah, we actually said that the issue of the inconsistency needed to be looked into. There must be uniform value on vehicle. It is not possible for the same vehicle of the same year coming out from different ports and they are paying different type of different rate of duty and different duty. One will be paying 1.5, one will be paying 2 million, one will be paying 1.7. That is not too good for our economy. And we actually suggested this VIN valuation. But the CGC there said that a committee should be set up that must be involved in freight forwarding association. Customs needed to subject the value they had to scrutiny, will look at it, and will bring in the issue of Valuation Act. We'll bring in the issue of legal notice, which allows for an importer who is bringing a used vehicle. There are 3 criteria that needs to be considered. The first thing is the year of the manufacture. The second one is the usage, which is the mileage. And the other one is the cubic capacity of the vehicle. So all they will now do is that somebody somewhere who believes that this system will, you know, not actually encourage contact, but is not going to make some people to make money, think that this thing should be dead on arrival. And that was why they inputted that outrageous value. We are not saying the system is not good. We actually suggested it because we want a situation where the issue of contact will be reduced, and our members will go home and sleep when they have a bill of lading of vehicles to clear, knowing fully well that the moment I input my VIN into the system and it gives me what I'm supposed to pay and it is paid. Ideally, in a normal situation, if you want to actually have good intention, the moment you are paying the actual duty that the system gives to you, it is supposed to be automated and released immediately. But you still have a situation where even with the introduction of the VIN number, VIN valuation, you still have to go and meet an officer who must still verify. You still have contacts. So issue of contact is not even coming in place now. It's not being eliminated completely. So it is our baby. We want it as patriotic Nigerians. We do not want to be called names by our importers, and we want Nigerian government to have the normal revenue to be generated into our coffer. But all we are saying is that the outrageous value inputted into the system must be removed. Let us revert to status quo ante. We'll look at it, we subject it, and we have a pilot scheme. We can pick a port, maybe Tinkan Port, Apapa Port, or Peter Port, where we know that the influx of vehicles are not many. We subject it to a pilot scheme. We'll look at it for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. There are going to be teething problems here and there when you introduce a new system. It is normal. But not when you are shaving my head in my absence. Not when you do not even carry along the freight forwarders, the custom brokers, who are the very, very important key in this matter. Because whether you like it or not, by virtue of the fact that I have the original bill of lading, it is tantamount to the fact that at that material time, we're the owner of that consignment until we hand over to the importer.
All right, Dr. Khadi, just hold your thoughts now. Let's talk to Dr. Goodluck Jonathan. So what do you see as the way forward now?
Dr. Goodluck Onunj, not Dr. Goodluck Jonathan.
Oh, my word, Dr. Goodluck is our former president. I beg your pardon. Dr. Goodluck, so what do you see as the way forward now?
Yeah. Coming to the actual sense, customs should know that we support them to make whatever revenue they want to make for government. But where they will sit down without the freight forwarders, bringing their own input, they sit down and they agreed for a special
So how
price.
do we move forward now This has already started.
For the freight forwarders
yes,
to
what do
implement.
you want?
What we want, let them suspend this particular VIN for a meanwhile. Let's sit down and discuss it, because whatever that is happening on the system is on the same valuation chain. Let them suspend it and have round table meeting and bring a cost as per the year, as per the product, by the capacity of the product, and make a value on it.
Yeah, but how are we sure? I mean, because you are businessmen, so obviously you don't want to pay more. You want, you know, your costs to be less so that you make more profit. So how are we sure? Perhaps that's why they just went, you know, with what they see, as Dr. Kehinde said.
What they were giving us for the past 6 months, I have to be very sincere, nobody has complained on the fiscal value. The complaint just arise from this automated value, which they say that it has no human face. We want to value that we have human face.
Okay, but the valuation that you were happy with, how did they arrive at that?
It's
supposed to be connected to the cost of the vehicle.
It's customs that determine value of any product, not only vehicle, anything in Nigeria.
Agreed.
It's only them that determine it.
Agreed.
They don't accept any final invoice.
Agreed.
Whatever invoice you bring to them, they will not accept.
Agreed. But it's supposed to be connected to the cost of the vehicle you have imported, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's different about it now? They are saying that's exactly what they are doing. Perhaps before now, they were not doing it appropriately.
Let me tell you how they come to it. Let's be sincere. Because this is our country. We want this to move. Customs generated what everybody was happy with last year. This year, they were given 3.1 trillion
revenue targets, yes.
For them to use their mouth and say that they are giving 4.2 trillion.
So are you
Where
saying,
will they generate it?
So are you saying...
And this is what they are doing now, because they have committed themselves by telling Nigerians that the 3.1 trillion government gave them that is small, that they will generate 4.2. That's what is causing this problem.
So you're saying...
Let them go back.
You're saying that is why we are having this conversation. It's not about clearing, because the customs are saying they want to clear the system, ensure that the system is working without compromise. That is why they introduced VIN. Because even the CBN, you know, also wanted to bring about evaluation.
We are not against the VIN. Let them automate what they used 2021 on the system. We'll be happy. What they automate presently is not what we used in 2021. If they can go back to that 2021 and automate it, no problem, we move on.
All right, Doctor. Good luck, please. Before I call you, please hold your thought. Let's talk to Dr. Kehinde now. Dr. Kehinde, well, Dr. Goodluck here is saying that he thinks this is just a way of customs hitting the targets, the revenue targets for the year, which, I mean, I think the lawmakers give them about 3 million, but they said they can do 4 million. Do you think this is all about it? Because we've also been hearing of issues of over-invoicing, you know, in this space. We've been hearing of, you know, under-declaration. So the customs are saying they want the system to work automatically without compromise.
Let me just tell you, ma, the man sitting with you here is very, very right. Last year, they generated 2 trillion or thereabouts, and this year they were given 3 trillion. Customs said they are going to generate 4 trillion. Nigerian importers have been complying, and the level of compliance, I challenge customs to give us data in the last 4 years. The level of compliance has increased tremendously. in geometric progression. But the problem we have is that self-inflicted injury. Nigerian importers are twisted. Before now, what we've been using is data which emanated, we call it X-factor press, which was actually gotten from Brussels. This will tell you the nearness of the value of vehicle. But a situation where somebody would just go on internet, Google a vehicle, and say, okay, that 2013 on internet is $13,000. Forgetting that the internet value, you can bid from $500 until maybe you buy it for maybe $3,000 or $4,000. The problem is Nigerian customs service needs to be professional. And that is what is lacking, lack of professionalism. We have freight forwarders who are enlightened. We have first custom brokers who are enlightened and they know the job. So if you must implement this VIN valuation, you need to sit with us. You subject your value to criticism. We will tell you that what you have brought is not workable. You cannot have a vehicle of $5,000. The World Customs Organization, by virtue of the General Agreement on Tariff and Trade, has 6 principles. 6 principles, madam, to agree on a value. The first one is called transactional value. If you are not agree with my value, there are other 5 principles that must be followed. And this has been domesticated by virtue of Act 20, 2003. But the problem is that customs jettison that professionalism and now go all just to make sure that they generate that 3 trillion or possibly 4 trillion at the expense of the importer, who maybe has bought a vehicle for $5,000 and you now want him to pay duty as for $13,000. This is very, very barbaric. It will never happen in an ideal situation. It will never happen in a better climate.
All right, Dr. Farrington.
The World Customs Organization, let me just add this, man. The World Customs Organization said that every customs nation must collaborate with their freight forwarders. And that is when you can achieve your desired result.
All right. Well, I believe the customs, we spoke to the Customs National PRO just before you came on, and I know he's watching. And like both of you have said, we do hope for more talks, even as the Customs Service has promised. And we do hope that peace would prevail at the end of the day. Thank you so much, Dr. Farrington Alqaeda, the National Vice President of the Association of Nigerian Licensed Customs Agents. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. And back here in the studio, not Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, but Goodluck Ononyinji, the board member, National Association of Government-Approved Freight Forwarders. Thank you so much. And we really would be looking up to peace, and progress in this space.
Yes, and I will use the opportunity to tell customs. Let them have a second thought. Because as of now, the port is congested.
Yes, we see that.
Let them suspend it.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll certainly follow up on that story. Well, we'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll do an opening call to London. Now, a whole lot is happening in the world, as you know. We'll give you updates of that here on Business Morning on Channels Television. To stay with us.